Finding Cinderella. Why there's no prince for Western women. Western media has had aspirational women as figureheads for centuries, the most indelible of which is the princess. Folk tales turned to fairy tales, turned to classic movies. Princesses have shaped the hopes and expectations of young women in the West for centuries. Today, I want to talk about Cinderella. This is a story about a downtrodden stepchild, her evil matronly stepmother, and her covetous, social climbing stepsisters. What's interesting to me is that Western women often identify with Cinderella, without realizing that more often than not, they may be more similar to the stepsisters. I won't recount all of Cinderella, but I will reference parts of the story. I'm no storyteller, just an annoying voice to sting you like a thorn, showing you how off the path you have come. My annoying little sting today is to point out that women identify with Cinderella for all the wrong reasons. When women think of Cinderella, they imagine her elegant ball gown, catching the eye of the prince, and then being pursued by said prince. Little do modern women consider that Cinderella never wanted, let alone asked for any of that. Although she did want a better life, she was only vaguely hopeful for a better future. She would likely have been happy being married to the local stable master. In contrast, it was her evil, nasty, ugly stepsisters that wanted the ball gown, the prince, and the pursuit. These are the women who cut their own feet to fit in the shoes of Cinderella. I can easily draw a parallel between modern women's desire for cosmetic surgery, filters, or even mere makeup. In fact, Cinderella would almost certainly not have worn makeup. Instead, that'd be the tool of her wicked stepsisters to court the prince. Cinderella was a hard worker. Her tyrannical stepmother and jealous stepsisters tormented her with chores, insults, and low status. Despite all this, she did those chores. If Cinderella was so beautiful, then she could have slipped the surly bonds of family and started anew with said stable master. What does her dedication to family tell you? If you were the prince, what would that tell you of his prospective queen? If I were to give Cinderella a one-word theme, it would be the theme of deserving. As I said, Cinderella never acts as though she deserves a prince, a carriage, a gown, or a pursuit. Yet she gets all of these things and it feels right. Why does it? Why do we feel Cinderella deserves all of this? Deep down we know that people who suffer deserve a chance at salvation. We also want to see the jealous and covetous lose out on what they are jealous and covetous of. They mutilate themselves, cutting off bits of their feet and heels so they can trick a prince into giving what is rightfully his heart. This manipulation is fuel for the stepsisters' comeuppance. Cinderella walks in, the prince knows he has found his princess, and his pursuit is finally at an end. Again, Cinderella never planned for this, let alone demanded it, let alone manipulated events to make it. In fact, she didn't even expect it. All of these things are what her stepsisters did. I can honestly say I have never heard anyone describe this situation from the prince's point of view. It's telling that women are not dissecting the pages, analyzing the brain of the prince, and devising how would they get such a man. After all, the prince pursued Cinderella relentlessly based on a single dance. What did he see that would make a man chase so long? As a married man, I can tell you that mere attractiveness does not elicit that kind of response. Noble women are bred from the best stock, and the prince certainly had other offers left and right. In the Disney film, the prince is depicted as bored. So what did he see in Cinderella that made him pursue? Well, I'll tell you, again, as a married man, from the prince's perspective, he certainly saw a face of pure wonder and gratitude. Wonder and gratitude is what every man wants to see on the face of a woman. He wants to see that he is appreciated just for this moment in time. For a single dance, he was enough. No expectations, just pure adoration. He couldn't avoid her adoring gaze for a moment, even if he tried. She was enraptured with him. She was vulnerable, uncertain, and had no machinations. That was all it took for him to give her everything. And I need you women to think about that. The real lesson from Cinderella was that deserving starts with serving. And yes, although the prince was not aware of Cinderella's circumstances or her past, it's not really the point. The point is that this story sets right what was wrong, and we as the audience are the arbiter of justice. It feels just that Cinderella gets the prince. However, this is not the lesson that Western women have taken from it. They only see themselves in the gown, but not in the rags. As men, we can't help but feel these women are not deserving of our love, because they're not willing to serve. This is why these women cut pieces of themselves off for a prince that they will never have.